Hi there, so you've joined us back here on the River Trent for the second part of the Monster Particles River Series. From the first one, obviously the river's changed quite a bit, as you can see. We're carrying a bit more water. It's a different time of the year. We're going probably just into winter, late autumn now, early November, and the river's changed quite a bit. We got here originally, the swim that I wanted, there was somebody actually sat in it, which luckily they were going just an hour after we got here, so we hung on and we've actually got the swim that I wanted. The other thing is the river's carrying quite a bit of water compared to what it was in summer. We've probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 foot of extra water on. With the leaves coming down, I'll show you how we counteract that and how to fish it. We actually got here as well, and it wasn't forecast any rain. True to the weather forecast, it absolutely legged it down as soon as we got here, so there's a big thing. So what we're going to cover on this session, obviously, is the different seasons. Summer was totally different. I did mention in the summer one that baiting application didn't have to be so accurate. This time of year it does have to be a bit different and a bit more accurate, and I'll show you what the baits are pretty much similar, but there is a few tweaks. Rigs are pretty much similar, same as I said last time, good strong hooks, whether it be big, small, but we'll go through that a little bit later on. So we're going to get some bait out, get the rods out, catch up with you later, and hopefully we can show you a few fish. The aim obviously last time was a double, the aim's still the same. If we can catch a double or a big chub, then that'll do for us.
With the rods and baiting, the evening came quickly. After a quiet few hours, it was time to recast and take in the evening.
Yeah, so unfortunately nothing through the day. The rods have gone back out now, we're losing the light. The tide's dropping out, it's looking good for a bite. Unfortunately this swim does have a tendency to produce in the morning rather than the afternoons or during the day. So I think we missed that this morning getting here a bit later, but hopefully we might get something through the night or in the morning. If we do, I'll get the cameraman back out and we'll show you what we've got. Good morning. Unfortunately, it was very quiet last night, no fish to speak of. The main thing is obviously the temperature's massively dropped last night. We've had the first frost of the year, and like I say, it was really cold. The actual temperature of the river's dropped 1.5 degrees overnight, which is going to make things hard. We've got high pressure. I've had to change things, really change things and really scale things down, which I'll go through later on. Hopefully though we can still put a fish on the bank, but we're not fishing for numbers, we're fishing for bites at the moment, so really we scale right down to max tactics. I'll run through later on what I've actually done to... Well, we're just talking about changing tactics and how cold it's gone. Clearly it's worked because the rod's only been in 10 minutes and we're into a fish. I'm not sure it's a barbel, probably a chub maybe, but it's definitely working. and hopefully we can get a few more bites today. Tactical change has proved right. Like I said, we didn't have a touch last night at all. Not a touch, but like I say, the change, the length of the ute link scaled right down, and we're into a fish. Which is hell bent on burying itself in this weed. Yeah, so the tactical change has worked. We've switched to a feeder, lighter root length, single maggots and casters, and we've got our first fish. Well, just as I was talking to you and telling you how cold it was last night and how quiet it had been, basically talking about how I scaled down, it's actually worked because on camera it actually hooped over. The rod's only been in about, what, 15 minutes if that. Proving that scaling right down is the way forward. I'm hoping that today we can get a few more. Keep introducing little and often baits, smaller root baits, longer root lengths and very light root lengths at that. Hopefully we can get a few more today. I'll run you through later on exactly what I've changed and why I've changed it, but the proof's in the pudding and it's there to be seen. Like I say, I'm hoping today we can get a few more and maybe a couple of barbel. But we've had to really scale down because, like I say, it is absolutely freezing, and like I say, the temperature in the river's dropped nearly 1.5 degrees overnight, which is never a good sign. So I'm going to get this fish back now, get the rods back out, and hopefully we can get a few more. I'm hoping that the tactics are going to work through the day, and like I say, I'll run you through that little bit later on about what I've changed and why I've changed it. But we're going to get it back and get the rods back out, and hopefully we'll be back with some more fish soon. So I'll just literally put the rods back out. I thought I'd take the opportunity to run through what bait I've been using. Over the last few weeks, since Monster have released the shelf life particles, I've been using this a lot because it's basically shelf life. You can keep it in your van, it's versatile, it's PVA friendly, and it's a great product. The other thing is I would like to say that I do with it, I do open it a couple of days before I come fishing so that I can add things to it. Basically I add garlic and chilli to it, leave it for a few days, and that gives me a little bit of an edge over just standard particle. The that basically, the EMP is the main part of my fishing, whether it be through a feeder, whether it be through a spopper. I do use maggots, I do use casters, like I say, I do use worms as well. Basically chop them all up, everything in one mix. Whether I use it in a feeder or, like I say, whether I spopper it out and fish a lead over the top. Particle is, well, basically the EMP is a big part of my fishing, especially at this time of year. I want to put smallish beds of bait down with not a lot of food content in them. EMP's brilliant for that. You can't really overfeed it. You can in a way if you put masses of it in, but like I say, you're fishing for bites at this time of year, and putting small beds down and letting the fish onto it, obviously getting to the maggots and casters and things, then they really do like it. Like I said, we have changed it, and like I say, I've changed it basically to feeders. And what I've been using in the feeder, I've put no ground bait whatsoever. All it is hemp, the chili hemp that I prepare obviously through Monster, and casters, chopped worm and maggots, and that goes through a feeder with 2-3 maggots on the end. And it does seem to be working because we've had literally 4 fish since we've changed to it. Like I said, this time of year you don't want to be using massive big particles. Hemp, rapeseed, groats even are a good thing at this time of year, and I do use them quite a lot myself. Casters are another one. Like I say, if you can keep them on the hook, you're not getting mired with nuisance fish. They're brilliant for fishing over hemp. Everybody knows hemp, caster and shot worm is a winner in any kind of fishing. Anything that swims will pick it up, including barbel and chub. We've had a few fish, like I say, and it does prove that the particle is a big part of it. The hemp stays where you want it to be when you get it on the bottom, and the maggots float downstream a bit, so you're actually creating a stream of bait where the fish are following it up and then they get to the hemp or where the feeder is. it's a massive part of my fishing. Like I say, the conditions have been awful. It was freezing last night. Switched over to just hemp, like I say, maggots, chopped worm. We've had 4 fish already, and I'm confident that if them fish like the chub, the bream are feeding on that, the barbel won't be far behind them, and hopefully through the day with these kind of tactics we can put a barbel or 2 on the bank as well. So hopefully through the day I'm hoping we'll get a couple of barbel, or like I say, even a barbel would be a bonus. If we can keep that bait going in, keep the small fish occupied on it and catching them, I'm sure the barbel will come, and I'll get back to you. We'll talk a little later about rigs and tactics and things. Really quiet since this morning, but literally as the tide's dropping out, the right hand rod on the light tactics has gone over. I'm not sure it's a barbel, I think it's a chub again, but proving that it does work. Just got to watch it with this bank of weed, because every one of these chub has gone for it. Could even be a bream, but you never know. Really light tactics though, 4 or 5 foot hook lengths, and like I say, it's been quiet all day since that action earlier on, but it's just literally gone over a minute ago, just as that tide's dropping out. First barbel, not the biggest, but proof that the tactics do work. The change, tiny little loop baits, 2-3 maggots, and a size 12 hook. Well, there you have it, the first barbel. Had a 2 kenny barbel this morning with what conditions we had last night. Just proves that scaling right down to what we have done, that the rigs do work. With a 5 chub, a bream and now a barbel. There's still plenty of time left yet, and hopefully we can put a few more on the banking. I'm going to pop this back, get the rods back out and see if we can catch any more. We'll speak to you soon. Right, so I'm going to talk about, I mentioned before I was going to talk about the rigs that are scaling down this morning, what I changed and why I changed it. Obviously we had a massive frost last night, and the temperature in the water dropped nearly 1.5 degrees, so something had to be changed. And like I said, basically I've changed things from what I opted for yesterday was a lead system like that, with obviously quite not a shortish hook length, but 10-pound line, 3 foot maybe, with 8 maggots and on a size 8 hook. That didn't really work much obviously through the night because we didn't get anything. I also through the night as well on the other rod I had boilies on a braided hook link with paste wrapped round, which on the last one worked quite well. It really did outshine maggots last time. When we got up this morning, it was, well, to say the least, it was freezing. What I basically opted for was not to spop a bait in. I wanted to scale down, but it's still it's still strong basically. So what I basically did, I switched from lead to feeder for one thing, and the difference with it being was it was a running rig. So I could see more bites. I weren't expecting just for the rod to hoop over and rattle off. I'm actually watching the tips and watching the bites. The hook link was lengthened as well, substantially, basically about, I'd say 5 foot, maybe 6 foot. And what I've actually done as well, I've fished a size 12 hook with a caster liner and 3 maggots on it. Now, in that feeder as well, I've not fed any ground bait or anything like that. You might notice with the feeder, it's got a band round it. It's a closed end feeder, a maggot feeder. Now, it's been adapted with an inner tube round it so that the maggots, the flow pushes through the top and just drip feeds the maggots out. It's on a running rig setup, and because there's been a lot of debris, leaves and stuff like that coming down, I've basically put 2 float stops, maybe 12 inches apart. So there's one there and there's one there. Now what happens is when the debris comes down the river, the dead weed, mainly leaves at this time of year at the moment, but what actually happens, it actually catches them. So what it doesn't actually do is come down, hit your lead and actually pull your leads round. So that's a great way of stopping, basically keeping leaves off your line. It's definitely worked because, like I say, within 10 minutes of putting the rods out this morning, we've had 4 or 5 chub, a bream. I'm pretty sure that's what's made the difference, and I don't think that would have, the original rigs, the boat rigs so to speak, I don't think that would have worked. It's definitely going to be the feeder, it's definitely the feeder that's worked, and the length of the oot link, smaller roots, etc. What I'm going to do as well, I'm going to keep on that today. I've put a bit more bait out with the spopper because we've had a bit of action. I've topped up and I'll keep topping up the feeder on top. I'm casting every half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that if I don't get a bite, refeeding and vice versa. I'll fish that into dark as well tonight because I do think them barbel will come at some point. Where the chub and the barb, where the smaller fish are actually coming in investigating and causing disturbance in your swim, the barbel usually aren't far behind it. I'm going to get the rods back out now, put some more bait in, and if we catch anything, I'll get the cameraman back out and we'll show you what we've caught. So that's the sun going down behind us now. Definitely proved another chub. Definitely proves that them light tactics are paying off because, like I say, I think that's chub number 6 now, and the barbel. Like I say, I don't think we'd have caught half of what we've caught with the tactics that I employed last night. The change has definitely made a massive difference. We're not going to get this one out, we're just going to put it straight back. We'll get the rods back out and hopefully we'll get another couple, and if we do, I'll get the cameraman back out and we'll show you what we've caught. As you can see, we're losing the light now, we're getting into darkness, the sun's setting behind us. We're going to stick to the feeder tactics for a few hours into darkness because they have worked quite well today. The change of tactics has proved right, scaling right down. We've had a few fish. I think we've had 6 chub and a barbel up to now, which had a toot this morning looking at the conditions that we had. It looks like we're going to get another cold night. It's forecast -2, so we'll see what happens, but we've got tonight and a few hours in the morning, and hopefully we'll get another couple of fish. Like I say, we'll speak to you later if we do catch something. Well, we've just had a take on the right hand rod, same tactics, 2 maggots, and this is a proper one. This we've already had a small barbel before it and a chub, but this is really hanging on. It absolutely melted off and it don't feel like a small one. I've had it on for about a good 3 or 4 minutes now, and it's just heading downstream all the time. It's got a bit of weight to it. Let's hope it's that double we've been after. Got to be very careful though, because I'm only on a size 12 zook. It's really belting off. It's either that or it's foul out. The mist is horrendous, it's absolutely freezing. But we're definitely into another barbel. This is the 3rd one now, and I did say if them smaller fish move in, that the barbel will move in with them. It seems to have proved right. I've just looked at temperature gauge and it's -2 already, and we're only on 7 o'clock. So what it's going to get to tonight, I don't know. Yeah, she's definitely
definitely into double figures, I'd say. Probably well into double figures. That tiny hoot though, just right inside of its mouth. But it just proves that even small hoots on strong tackle, scaling down, freezing conditions like we've had, has produced what we've come down for. And if you'd have asked me this morning, no way would I have said we've caught one, but we have.
Well, there it is. I did say earlier on, it's been a struggle, to be honest with you. Temperature, it's actually about -2 now, but the right hand rod has just absolutely melted off. Feeder tactics, same thing, 2 maggots, and there's your result. That's what we came down for, that was the aim. It was the aim in the last series, 10 pound 8 ounces, and in the worst conditions you can have for barbel. That's the 3rd barbel now, 6 chub, and that just proves that changing them tactics has put that fish on the banking, because I think we wouldn't have been able to do it unless we'd have changed, scaled right down basically to the feeder tactics. Awesome fish, awesome fight, and hopefully we'll catch another couple, but I can't see it. I'm made up with that. I said this morning I'd be happy to catch a fish or get bites. I've had 6 chub and 3 barbel, and there's your result, the biggest one at 10 pound 8 ounces. Proves the power of changing that. Like I say, it's absolutely freezing again, and hopefully, like I say, we'll get them rods back out, and like I say, if hopefully we can catch another couple, but absolutely made up with that, especially in these conditions. So not long ago we've slipped the 10 pound 8 back. I thought the barbel would move in, which proved right really. Get them smaller fish feeding, and this is the result, 13 pound 6 ounces. Absolutely melted off on the right hand rod. Same tactics, feeder, light hoot links. I decided to keep them exactly the same because every bite has come to the change of tactics, which we spoke about earlier. 1 double would have been enough, 1 fish would have been enough, but to catch 2 doubles as well, absolutely mega. What a fish and what a fight as well. Well, I don't know what to say. From this morning, when I said I really didn't think we were going to get bites, change of tactics, kept with the same feeder tactics. The change of tactics worked massively. Absolutely blown away with this. 3rd double, 5th barbel, 6 chub as well. 14-1, absolutely mesmerised. What a fish. Kept it through the night. I was going to change back to boilie and paste, but I just thought everything that we've caught, basically, we've caught on maggots and the light feeder tactics. So I've kept it to exactly the same thing. Kept it through the night. 2:30 in the morning. It's absolutely freezing, and this is just basically rattled off. And like I say, it's a 3rd double. Absolutely over the moon. What a fish. Good morning. Well, what can I say? Massive difference from yesterday morning when we were talking about the conditions, whether we were going to get a bite and whatnot. Still cold last night, very cold. We stuck to the same match tactics, which I said I'd keep an hour into dark. I decided with all them fish coming to that I would keep it throughout the night, and it proved to be right. I'm absolutely blown away with catching 3 doubles, steadily getting bigger. 10-8, 13-6 and a huge fish of 14-1, all on 2 maggots and, like I said, long hook links, match tactics. I wouldn't have expected, like yesterday I was expecting fishing for bites. I've ended up with 6 chub. By changing them tactics, we've ended up with 6 chub, 5 barbel. I've lost 1 this morning. Really the conditions are terrible, to be honest with you, but that change of tactics and scaling right down, and I'm glad it's paid off, because yesterday morning, like I said, I was expecting a bite, if anything. To catch 3 doubles in the last night and end up with 5 barbel and 6 chub, absolutely blown away. Turned out to be a bit of a dream session, to be honest with you. I'm gonna sign out shortly. I'm over the moon with what's happened, and like I say, I hope you can catch up with us on the next episode, where we'll hopefully have something a bit special for you. So in a few months' time, hopefully you'll see us back on the bank, and I'll see you on the bank very shortly.